Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. However, wherever, whenever you're listening, this is the Root for Wisconsin show, episode 144, coming at you from the Riverwood Gallery Studio in De Pere, Wisconsin. I'm host producer Eric Fisher, the Big E, and we have a full crew here this evening. Joining us in person for the first time in a long time, we've got Secretary Shawna.
What's up?
How you doing, Shawna?
Doing great.
Glad to have you back.
Thanks.
We've got member of the Highway 22 crew, Sean Klossman, after a brief hiatus. Sean, how's life treating you?
It's treating me good.
Great to hear. And also joining us, we've got Dylan Tritt on Skype. Dylan, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How's everybody else?
Fantastic. So with that said, let's get right into a lot to talk about. You done? You good?
Yeah, I said good. Thanks for asking. He was the only one that asked how we were doing.
I asked how you were doing.
I know, but like, Sean didn't ask me how I was doing, and I didn't ask him, so.
Okay. Anyway, so we got a lot to talk about this week. So let's get right into it. First, we start off with our partners over at Rage and Pro Wrestling, March 16th at the Big Apple in Manitowoc. Not going to want to miss it. Mr. Ken Anderson will be in attendance, as well as a stacked card, RPW Extravaganza 3. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be there. Also, we got to say thanks to Hybrid Wrestling Entertainment for having us out February 9th, I believe. We do have a TikTok coming with that eventually. Was myself, Shawna, Ramsey, and our friend Armando joined us that night. So got to meet some of the talent, had a great time there as well. So thank you to them for having us out there and continuing to, for whatever reason, invite us to things and keep us coming to pro wrestling in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Real quick for RPW, did you see that card?
What card?
The card for.
Yes.
There's a elimination intergender match.
There is. Who's in it, Shawna?
Davis and Alexander, Capri and Benson, and then that Cross guy and Mackenzie.
All right, sounds loaded.
But and then a tornado tag team match, because that sounds fun.
Do you know what that is?
No.
It's where both people are in the ring at the same time. They don't have to tag in and out.
Yeah, everybody's in
So
the ring at the
chaotic.
same time.
Chaotic. Yeah, that's the kind of matches you like.
It is.
Sounds wild.
I'm excited. And then a 20-minute Iron Man match.
You know what that is?
The winner challenges for a championship of their choice.
Yeah, do you know what an Iron Man match is?
They're strong, guys.
Sean, you want to take this one?
It's the most pinfalls or submissions within the 20 minutes wins.
Yeah, so you can win like 4-5 or something, or 5-4.
Wow. Cool. Yeah, it's a pretty stacked card. I'm excited. 18 days.
March 16th at the not at the Watering Hole, at the Big Apple in Manitowoc.
Get your tickets.
Get your tickets at Look Sharp in the Fox River Mall, as well as rpwprowrestling.com.
She set you up for that one.
She did. Well done.
Thanks.
All
I
right.
can.
With that said, let's get it right into it. What we had rooted for in the last, well, for you, it's been a few months.
Yeah.
For you, it's been 2 months.
Has it been 2 months?
Pretty close.
Probably
It was
been
right
around
before
that.
Christmas.
Right.
And Dylan, for you, it's been a couple weeks. So what's been going on, guys? I'll start with Shawna.
Oh. I don't know. Skip me for now.
All right,
I'm back.
Sean, what do you got for us? How's life been going? New homeowner?
Yeah, it's been going good. Bought a house, so been remodeling that for the past 2 months here, and just kind of getting everything settled and figuring out what to do with home ownership.
Woohoo.
Sean, are you ready yet, or should we go to Dylan?
No. What's Dylan?
Dylan, what do you got for us?
I am going to take it local here. I am rooting for the Omro boys basketball team, my alma mater. This year, they actually went undefeated in conference, 14-0. First conference championship since, I believe, the 2015-2016 season. First outright conference championship since 2011, 2012, when yours truly was on the team. First team in Omro men's basketball history to go undefeated in conference, so that's pretty cool. Head coach is one of my friends, Stephen Egan. He was a senior when I was a sophomore, so we were on the 2010, 2011 conference championship team together. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm happy for him. Also going to shout out the ladies who are also doing well. Both got pretty good seeds in the playoffs, so go Foxes.
That's awesome to hear. I do always like to give a shout out to the high school athletes as they go on with playoffs.
Heck yeah.
And interesting story coming out of my alma mater, Gillett. 3 players this season got 1,000 points or hit their 1,000 point marks. And I believe 2 of them were seniors. One of them was a junior. So want to shout them out as well. So congrats to them. Got a first round win over Sevastopol last night, which no, I was going to say it's been the first playoff win in a long time, but it hasn't been because this group is really young, talented group, and they've been coming up together. Actually had coached this group when they were in 4th grade when I was in high school. So that's how old I am. Now they're all in high school and doing their own thing and better than we were. So good for them. And also just the other local teams. I know I will have a couple games over the weekend here, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But in the meantime, we go from the positives to the negatives. Oh, Sean, do you have one?
No.
I was figuring you didn't.
I was just saying, are there any of our other alma maters in the playoffs, or are we rooting for the Foxes of Amaro?
Well, Gillett boys are still in it. I believe the Sheboygan Falls Falcons girls should still be in it.
Woo!
O'Connell Falls is still in it. Too.
Actually, no, they're not. They lost last week.
It doesn't look good. It says they're in percentage, so I don't know if that's good or not.
That is not good.
So anyways, I guess we're going Foxes.
Tigers.
Heck yeah. Let's go.
Okay. What about you? Is your team in yet?
I don't know if O'Connell Falls is still in it or not.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. I know.
Also, just real quick, want to point this out. Amaro is currently ranked 10th in the state.
Whoa.
Nice.
Well,
Highest I've seen it since my junior year when we were ranked 6th in the state.
We never had that.
Oh yeah, my school just lost on Tuesday.
The boys did.
54-77 to Kettle Moraine.
Ouch.
I did a game last night. The final score was 86-42, but it could have legitimately been 150 points. That if Notre Dame would have kept their starters in against Luxembourg Casco, or even their second team, it probably would have been 120, 150 points. Not even.
I guess I root for Notre Dame now.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's-
They have West, the boys, and the girls are still playing as well.
Amro's first matchup is Friday against Arcadia, who is 13-12. So no offense to Arcadia, but that should be Amro should dog walk those guys. So
All right.
Hey, does this mean my girls are in? They're 14-0 in the conference.
They lost last weekend though.
Oh, damn. Okay. Sorry. Okay, well, I guess we're all rooting for Dylan's team.
heck yeah, let's go.
All right, so with the positives do come the negatives. That leads us to our Tyler Hero Noogie of the Week. And again, it's been a while for you two. Sean, you got a negative for us? Anything negative?
I don't know. This weather. I always root for weather. Also, Eric. We'll give Eric a noogie just because.
Oh.
Yeah, see how I get treated here, Dylan, when there's more than just you and me? It's not great.
Wow.
Oh.
I'm not going to attack you. Don't worry.
don't worry, I will. I'm going to give you a nuggie too.
All right, what do you got
Oh.
first?
I'm giving you a nuggie
For what?
just because.
Okay. You have any other ones?
Maybe Daytona 500 or what do I want to say? Because we were down at Daytona last week, last week.
Yeah.
For the 500, and we were gonna get tickets because it got rained out on Sunday, and all the tickets skyrocketed Monday. I was expecting $50-$70 tickets. We'd be able to go. Yep, no, $200.
Oh.
Really?
Like no way.
To
So
watch cars go around in a circle?
You would have got 2 races out of it, though. You would have, if you would have.
Hey, they go fast, Shawna. Give them a break.
right,
They go fast.
They do go fast too.
And they turn left. Ha ha!
sometimes it
Sometimes they turn right.
That would be too much for me.
They're not usually supposed to, but sometimes they do, unless they're on a road course. So then they do. Go
Right,
right.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Road courses, you turn right sometimes.
Yeah, Road America.
Or if you're doing the Polish victory lap, you turn right.
Yeah, sure.
All right, Jillian, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna jump in here with my
No.
my noogie.
Oh, right away, cut him off.
I do. I'm gonna
See how it is.
I'm gonna go with the NBA All-Star complainers. The NBA All-Star game. I mean, all All-Star games are kind of a joke now because they don't mean anything.
Except for MLB.
They don't. That one doesn't mean anything either
Yeah,
anymore.
but it's still the best one.
It is by far the best one. And it's an exhibition of your best stars. And now we had people bitching about the NBA All-Star game because they scored over 200 points and it was like 211 to 180 or something like that. And they're, it's a glorified dunk contest with a 3-point shooter. Who cares? Like,
Wasn't it like 150 or 160 3-point attempts?
It might have been, but again, what are they supposed to do? Like, it's an exhibition of your best stars. They don't want to get hurt. They're not going to lock down defensively.
Right.
Because no one wants to get hurt. No one wants to take it that serious.
Then why are they not playing the regular games the same way?
You mean like not playing defense at all?
Mm-hmm.
Good question. I mean, they don't really play a whole lot of defense in the regular season, but even less in the All-Star game. But I mean, I watched the All-Star game. It was thoroughly entertaining.
Yeah.
You got Dame Lillard pulling up from literally half court just to keep shooting because he wanted the All-Star MVP, had 39 points.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. And
I mean, isn't an All-Star game supposed to be like your
it's supposed to be a reminder of look how damn good these players are and why they're the best in the world.
Right. So why are we crabby about it? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but constantly people bitched about it.
Yeah. Well, it's
Pro Bowl.
Everyone goes back to that. What was it? That 2000 or is it the 2001 All-Star game that they consider like the best NBA All-Star game in the history of NBA All-Star games? Where it was an actual competition, like the guys actually played hard. They played hard defense. They wanted to win the game, and they just don't have that attitude toward it anymore. Seen a lot of ideas bouncing around, like how to make it competitive. Like winner of the All-Star game or whichever conference wins the All-Star game gets home court advantage during the finals and stuff like that. I mean, there's things you could do, but at the same time, I mean, these players are worth amounts of money that I can't even comprehend, and they want to get hurt. No one wants to get hurt during the All-Star game, and I, as an owner, I wouldn't want my players that are there to get hurt during an All-Star game either.
Can't call them owners anymore.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Somebody complained about it a few years ago, and it became a whole thing with racial tension and whatnot.
Yeah.
What?
My point still stands.
No, not about that. My question is, are tickets cheap to go to All-Star games?
No.
They're not?
No.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say, like, maybe it's like how Lambeau Field does like family night, and that's like the one time a year families take their kids to. Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
You should do an All-Star race.
They do.
Oh,
They do.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do.
All right. Well, maybe I'll just.
All right, Dylan, what do you got for noogie for us?
I got a couple. I'm not going to touch on the Badgers too much, but all I can do there is facepalm. Catastrophic collapse. What I'm going to go with is sports media as a whole, NBA coverage. Saw a bunch of stuff going around, trying to make it seem like Damian Lillard is unhappy in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, this is happening today.
Yeah. Well, I think some of it was yesterday when the reports came out, and then he responded today saying, "You guys are just blowing stuff out of proportion and taking stuff out of context." And I'm just sitting here like, well, duh. But
Can say shit, by the way.
Shit. There. Yeah, so it's just funny to see. And
Well, Dylan, tell the people what they're missing. What's going on? What's going on with Dame Lillard? What happened? What was the report?
Apparently nothing. He made a quote saying like, life is pretty boring or pretty lonely right now. He goes to practice and or goes to games and comes home and tries to watch boxing and eat some food and goes to bed. I'm like, well, in my head, I'm like, okay, that's the life, you know?
What anybody does. Like
Right.
you go, you,
Excuse
up,
me.
you go to work, you go,
Yeah.
home, you watch your sport, you eat a food, and go to bed.
Yeah, darn. Sorry you have to make millions of dollars doing that. But he's, according to him, it's blown out of proportion. And he's happy where he's at. So,
Well, and like part of it too, and that a lot of people are commenting on is the dude's going through like a nasty divorce right now and a custody battle. Like he
I
goes
didn't know that.
and kids, or kid at home, and now that's not going on because of the battle.
Ooh.
So I'm sure that's all. I mean, that's you go from one total area of life and then you go to a whole nother one in a new city. You're not going to be doing a whole lot. Like that's just reality.
And to be honest, the stuff to do in this state,
Shit.
no, whatever. The shit to do in this state at this time of the year is limited more than it is during the warmer months. Now, Milwaukee is riddled with things to do. Sorry, with shit to do. And but those things are limited to indoors only during this time of the year. So I kind of side with him a little bit, but at the same time, you live in Milwaukee, there's plenty to do.
It's not like there's more to do in Portland, right? Like, I mean, I know
Right.
he thought he was
yeah.
in Miami, but if we're talking Miami versus Milwaukee, sure, but you can't tell me there's that much more to do in fucking Portland.
Right.
It's got to be raining there all the time. You can't even get outside there because it's raining.
Did you have a rain or snow?
Well, exactly. And at least sometimes the summer. Well, most of the time the summer is pretty
It was
nice.
70 degrees yesterday.
Like, yeah, go drink a margarita on a patio, dame. Wisconsin would be pretty nice for you. That's what
Hey, I'm not trying to shit on him for having the lonely attitude, right? Like we talked about earlier. That's what we do. Come home and go to work. Come home and eat some food and find something on TV and go to bed.
Right.
That's pretty much life. So as far as I'm saying, Dane's one of us.
If you're Sean, you're
One
remodeling a
of us.
house.
Yeah,
Well,
Sean's been nonstop working.
Right.
he's choosing to do that though. That's not a
Hold on, let's
Hang on now.
let's not peel back that band-aid
Yeah.
too far.
all right. Well, I'm out of the loop on that one, so I'm going to redact that statement.
Well, let's just you're a smart guy, Dylan. You got that college degree. Put 2 and 2 together on what you just said.
2 and 2 is together, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
No,
smelling what you're stepping in.
Anyway, we're getting way off. This is what happens. We got 4 people going on here. Anyway, so that's what's been going on. Real quick, you got something? Okay.
I don't.
Come on, let's keep the show going here.
Yeah. All right. So we have our first draft in a long time.
Are you looking up lunch stuff?
No, I'm looking up how to figure out what order to do this in.
Oh, okay.
No, we're not doing an order. You get 4 picks, and you can take your.
Yeah, but we still have
I
to
think
figure
he
out an
meant the order of like who is picking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that way.
Yeah.
Because
So,
we're gonna do it random, however you want to do your
right. So why don't
stuff, right?
one of you 3 figure out how to introduce what we're about to do?
All right, Sean, run it down. You sound like you know what you're doing.
This was your idea.
I just said
You-
lunch stuff.
You made a big stink about.
Okay, so here's what we're going to here's
All
what
right.
we're going to do. We're going to do a lunchtime draft. Right? You're going to pick 4 items. You get let's just say a beverage, a main course, a side, and a dessert. 'Cause that's what I do those are my 4 go-to items when I go for a lunch. Beverage, main dish, side, dessert. So we're each going to get 4 picks, 4 of us. That's 16 total things for those counting at home. And you can take whatever item you want in any order. We don't have to go specifically beverage, main, side, dessert. Sean could pick a dessert first. Shawna could pick a beverage first. You just got to hit those 4 categories with your 4 picks. So what do you want to prioritize first? That's what you want to draft first.
Wow, that was
Professional and well done.
that was.
Yep.
All right. Our order is going to go as follows: Dylan, Shawna, Sean, myself, and then we'll snake it.
All right.
So Dylan with the first pick
He didn't want to go first.
of the lunch draft.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I feel like the most important, the lunch centers around the main course. So I'm going to go, my first pick, I'm going to spend on my main course, and I'm going to go with a BLT.
Solid choice. Sean, what do you got for us?
Buffalo chicken wrap all day, every day, every time. Buffalo chicken wrap.
Sean?
I think I'm gonna go for my snack first, or my side. My snack. I'm gonna take the what do I want to call them here? The little famous Amos cookies that come in.
Oh,
a
you're
little...
going dessert, you mean?
No, that's my snack. That's
Oh,
my
you're
side.
going. Are you going double dessert?
I'm going double dessert.
Wow.
Sean's got a sweet tooth.
Okay, I'm gonna go with my dessert first. Cosmic brownie, number one, and my second one, I'm gonna go just a simple turkey sandwich: turkey, cheese, lettuce, whatever.
Very good.
No tomato because you're a child.
I do not like tomatoes. That is factual.
All right, Sean.
Okay, we're gonna go with the night before's leftovers as my main course.
Oh.
That is so, bro. That's bullshit.
Why?
That's a cop out.
That is a little bit of a cop out.
Why?
100% cop out. Because that could be anything. It could be anything.
Okay, then I'm gonna take like let's go bratwurst.
Ooh, yum.
Okay, that's a good answer.
So you're having a brat and a cookie for lunch?
Broughton.
You haven't?
No,
That's a great lunch.
not a
actually.
cookie. All right. My side with my buffalo chicken wrap. Sun chips, the cheddar kind.
Ooh.
Yep.
All right, Dylan, you got two in a row.
Yeah, I'm gonna go side. I'm gonna go Cool Ranch Doritos.
Cool Ranch kind?
Yeah, Cool Ranch Doritos. Nacho cheese are still really good, but I give Cool Ranch the edge.
All right.
And then beverage. I'm gonna go beverage next. And I don't see any other answer other than Busch Light.
I wish I could work where you do.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a Saturday lunch.
Oh, I was gonna say if I crack open a Busch Light, I'm fired.
Yeah, probably.
Kids, this is just my
You
Mountain Dew.
You gotta get one of those koozies that show up as a Coke.
No,
Yeah, right? Yeah.
So I drink. Real side note, real quick tangent. I drink those like tall energy drinks. So I brought the can koozie like for like White Claws, and I had a kid ask me, "Are you drinking right now?" And I said, "No, it's all right. It's got my energy drink in there." My dessert.
Get dessert and beverage, I think, yet.
Yeah. My beverage. Raspberry sweet tea. Raspberry sweet iced tea. Yep. All right. Your turn.
I'm gonna go with my beverage as an RC.
What?
The RC
That's
Cola.
a hell of a choice.
Oh, it's so much better than Pepsi and Coke.
RC?
Yeah. Have it every Friday when we go out to lunch on Friday.
Wow, it's an event.
I don't know that they serve RC at a restaurant.
Yeah, out of the gun. You've never.
That's some backwoods up north stuff, Sean.
There's nothing wrong with it.
What place is that at?
The Steel Moose.
All right.
Wow.
That's gotta be like the only place I've ever heard that serves RC out of the gun.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either.
You get Coke at that place?
No.
Just RC.
You can't get Coke out of the gun. It's only in the can.
Oh, so we're serving cans at this joint.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you not drink beer out of a can?
I don't like soda out of a can at a restaurant.
Why?
That's a story for another day.
Well, you're on the story now. You might as well go with it.
I just don't like it. I like a cup. I'm going to a restaurant to get a cup and a straw, not.
So what's the difference if you just get a glass of ice and pour it in the ice?
Because I'm going to a restaurant to get fountain soda. And most of the time when I go to a restaurant, I don't get soda anyway. So this is irrelevant. All right, Aaron.
I'm going to go with my beverage. I'm going to go with a Sun Drop. And my side, I'm going to go with the nacho cheese Doritos.
I'm going with the Little Debbie Swiss rolls as my dessert.
So, okay, hold on. We'll recap in a second.
I got to do a dessert yet.
Well, Shauna's got to go first, Dylan.
I got to do a dessert yet.
You were recapping. I thought that when we were done. I'm like, oh, we are not done.
I know. I caught myself.
Dylan really is passionate about getting his dessert.
I am. Yeah, I am.
He's hoping Shawna doesn't take it right here.
I'm going. I'm in between two. I'm going to Nutter Butter.
Nutter, like the
Nutty Buddy, whatever.
Nutty Buddies, okay.
The little bar things with the peanut butter and chocolate.
No, those are so good.
Oh,
those are so good. You got me rethinking my entire draft pick here.
With the final pick, the mystery relevant of the lunch draft.
Sweet Tarts.
Sweet Tarts.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. So our drafts go. Dylan had Bush Light, Sweet Tarts, Cool Ranch Doritos, and a BLT.
Bush Light and Sweet Tarts is a wild move.
Shawna goes raspberry sweet tea, buffalo chicken wrap. What was your
Sun chips?
Sun chips, the cheddar sun chips.
And what was
Nutty Buddies?
Nutty Buddies.
Yep.
And Sean, you go double dessert. You go Famous Amos cookies,
Yep.
Swiss cake rolls,
RC
and a brat. And I go Sun Drop, turkey sandwich, cosmic brownie.
Yours is just boring.
And nacho cheese Doritos.
Yours is like a
yours
lunch
is like
my fourth graders would eat.
I stand by it, man.
Except switch out the Sun Drop.
Okay, well, to be fair, mine is also a lunch a fourth grader would eat, minus the beverage.
minus the Bush Light.
It just depends on their home life, but
the Sweet Tarts and beer is just a combination. I can't wrap my head.
Hey, look, I'm not judging your guys' lunches, okay? Stop judging mine.
Have you
live my life?
Have you done Sweet Tarts and beer?
Yeah, is this a lunch that you have frequently?
Because I love Sweet Tarts, but I could never imagine cracking a beer and eating Sweet Tarts.
Well, to be fair, the beer usually comes after the Sweet Tarts.
Got it.
I'm sorry, the Sweet Tarts come after the beer because you have the beer while you're eating the BLT and the chips. And
okay.
Then I finished lunch with finishing the rest of my beverage, and then I go, now I need something sweet, and then I go grab some Sweet Tarts.
Okay, real question: chewy Sweet Tarts or the powder ones?
Either one, whichever one my hand hits first.
Okay, perfect. Good choice. That's my favorite.
I'm dumbfounded by his draft. It takes a lot to make me speechless, and right now I'm just trying to all over the place.
What part are you struggling to comprehend?
I gotta ask: is this something that you do frequently?
You're talking to me still?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
When's the last time you did this exact lunch? I need to know.
No. The exact lunch,
In the variation of something sandwich, I need to know. Lunch.
I feel like you're most concerned about the beer and the candy part.
I am.
And that's usually a once a week minimum thing.
No shit. That's crazy, Dylan.
I don't see why this is so baffling.
Like, are we having another beer after we eat the Sweet Tarts, or
maybe it depends on how the day flows.
That's even more crazy.
I got one more question. I gotta ask. Do you have laying around at home, or do you go to the gas station and get them, or how? What is the Sweet Tart access? Like everybody, you buy a 30 rack of beer, so you got beer sitting at home. You make your sandwich, whatever.
Have you ever been to a grocery store?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Do you have them sitting there, or do you go to the gas station?
Oh no, they're in we have a whole candy cupboard out in the kitchen, full of candy.
Jesus.
Wow. I could never have a candy cupboard. I would be.
Oh no, I will always have a candy cupboard.
Not anymore. Only at Christmas time.
Oh,
Christmas and
we have
Halloween.
it all the time.
I can't. I'd be eating it all the time. I'd have so many cavities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got frequent dentist trips from.
Bro, once a week sweet tart and beer. Like what?
Well, that's just sweet tart and beer. I mean, I have a lot of beer and a lot of candy, separately throughout the week. But
Wow.
What are your thoughts on nerd clusters?
fantastic, 10 out of 10 candy.
They're so good. Next
They were
draft, candy draft.
Yeah, we could.
Dylan and I would duke it out. Should we do a candy draft right now?
No.
I'm not prepared. I haven't done my scouting on that one yet.
All right, we gotta go.
Speaking of candy, sorry, I got a little
ahead.
tangent
I'm
here.
trying to figure out
So
what
we
to talk about
were
next.
in Daytona and we went to a chocolate factory.
Did you get fudge?
Yeah, we did. So you can walk down this hallway and there's windows and you can see them making all this stuff. All of a sudden we get to the end and there's just a sheet pan of bacon sitting outside. They made chocolate covered bacon.
Oh yeah.
I was very disappointed. I should have got some. Should have tried it.
Have you ever had the bacon donuts at festival?
No.
Oh, Sunday we'll bring Sean a bacon donut.
Sounds good.
It's literally maple bacon donut and it's chocolate frosting.
That sounds so freaking good.
That doesn't appeal to you, but chocolate covered bacon does. It's the same thing.
I don't know.
I'm a sucker for donuts.
So we're doing a donut draft?
Candy, nuts, anything sweets.
Sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah. Buddy the Elf draft.
that's a great way to turn that.
Yeah.
Candy corn, candy canes.
All right, Eric, what are we talking about next?
We're going to jump in the world of sports because there's not really a whole lot of fun stuff that's been happening in Wisconsin lately. It's been a lot of pissed off people about the weather. I mean, I guess that's kind of the story in of itself is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Tuesday, it was 70 degrees, almost north of 70 degrees here in Wisconsin. 50-degree drop today, 20 degrees through most of the state, inch of snow.
Roads were
Wind chills were at or near zero this morning.
Yep.
Wild.
garbage.
Yeah.
And by the weekend, it's supposed to be 60 again.
Yep.
I mean, Wisconsin weather. I mean, that could be in its own segment. We could just do like a weekly weather wrap up, but we're not going to because
That's not the
nerdy.
kind of podcast we are.
What kind of podcast are we? We're talking about sweet tarts and beer for 15 minutes. Like,
I would just like to make a point of clarification. It's Busch Light.
Yeah.
that's fine. That's great. I'm just.
Yeah, that's the beer of choice.
It does not differ, apparently.
Is that the number one beer, Dylan? Is Busch Light?
In my household, yes.
Okay.
Though I will say,
Solid choice.
It is a very solid choice.
Jennifer, for Christmas, she got me this what's that called? An advent calendar when you get
Yep.
one day. She got me a case of beer. One can of beer for every day. I can't remember. There's a brewery out of Milwaukee. I can't remember what the brewery was, but some weird beers, some delicious beers, some disgusting beers. But yeah, Busch Light's still the beer of choice.
What do you got, Sean?
I like my Coors Banquet.
That is a solid one.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down?
Yeah, I'm a Miller Lite girl.
Yeah.
Always.
Miller Lite's still horrible. So
You're horrible.
I'm very hit or miss with it. I think my safe go-to is Busch Light, but
I've got Eric on Miller Lite.
I've been drinking some Miller Lights lately. I've been really off
he
beer
only
as a
does it
whole
for
lately.
your dad.
That is true.
And his dad, I got Dave back on Miller Lite too, so.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've been drinking a lot of beer lately though.
Oh, I like bourbon.
But I've been kind of on the hams kick lately too.
You
Yes.
like hams
Yeah.
because it's
Ew.
Says the guy who never liked hams.
okay. Eric likes half the alcohol he likes now because of me.
Right.
I mean, you've introduced me to some things in life. It's been great. I've gotten culture.
Hams.
Yeah, that's what I introduced you to.
Which is very surprising because hams was like
The
up by
hams
us.
thing stemmed from, I guess.
you got really drunk on it one night and then you couldn't drink it again.
No, I didn't get really drunk to it. Just that I had to drink it fast. when we
Why?
were playing Mario Kart in college because we'd play the don't drink and drive game. And so when you're knocking those back real quick, you kind of feel like shit the next day.
Was Dylan a part of this Don't Drink and Drive Mario Kart hams?
He might have been once or twice, but it was myself, John,
Mm.
our friend Schmitty, and we had a
Schnibble.
friend from South Korea named Chan who lived above us, and he'd come down and play Mario Kart with us. He was terrible at it. But he could make good sushi too, so it all balanced out.
Hams and sushi.
Hams and sushi was an elite combination.
I bet that's slap. Maybe better than sweet tarts and beer.
Sweet tarts and Bush Light.
Get
Oh,
Bush
yes.
Light, get it right.
Yeah, get it right.
This is not the stuff that Dylan likes to talk about. Anyway, so let's move on to the world of sports.
Sports. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Hey,
You
sports.
guys wanna start, so going to be a big basketball episode. I think we can probably start with just kind of recapping football. Sean, we haven't got your thoughts on the end of the season yet. So end of the Packer season, Super Bowl as a whole.
Pretty sure I was here for the end of the Packers season, was I? Maybe not.
I don't think so. Not for the playoffs anyway.
Maybe not.
So Packers, I mean, we all know the story. Beat
Right.
Dallas in the first round. Go to San Francisco, lose, kind of a heartbreaker.
A little bit.
Have now fired and gotten a new defensive coordinator, gearing up for the draft. What's your thoughts on Packer Nation right now?
I think we're heading in the right direction. And I think that's all that matters. We got rid of Joe Barry, and I think we're going to be fine for the next few years here. And
Thoughts
Like-
on the Super Bowl with the Chiefs running it back, winning a second straight Super Bowl.
you didn't pick the Chiefs, so I knew the Chiefs were going to win.
Thanks.
Huh? It's never hurt us before. It's to go against you.
That's true, I guess. Shawna, your thoughts, Packers, Chiefs, all that stuff.
You know, I do have a thought.
What's your thought?
I'm excited about the next season.
What are you excited about?
I'm excited about the next season.
What specifically?
So the fan,
What
Marcus Eversole, he talks and I listen to that in the morning. Well, he's in the afternoon, but
You listen to Eric?
he cuts a little promo. Yes, I do listen to Eric, but Marcus cuts a little promo and he says about what's the new guy?
Jeff Halfley?
Yeah, Jeff Havley. He's like, there's a lot of unknown with him, and that's exciting. And I think that's a good take. You know he's not. There is. He said like you don't know where he's going or what he's doing. I don't know. I just think it's a good take. There's a lot of unknown, and that's exciting.
There is a lot to be excited for with Jeff Halfley, and he had his introductory press conference last week, and some of the sound bites, I mean, makes you want to jump through a brick wall, just run through. And the guy, I think my favorite moment of the press conference was, I think Aaron Nagler asked him about playing press man. He's like, why do you guys all ask about playing press man? And Aaron Nagler tweets out, we've seen some shit, Jeff. We have some shit. If that's not like the takeaway, but just kind of, I mean, they're switching their defense. It's going to go from a 3-4 to a 4-3 base, but no one really plays that base defense anyway. You're pretty much playing nickel base anyway. It kind of makes the draft a lot more exciting, though, when you look at some of the different talents that they're going to be looking at now, especially on the defensive side. And I know Justin and myself have done mock drafts ad nauseum. I'm sure the three of you are sick of seeing them.
Just yours.
I don't know.
I get excited for Justin's because I never know what he's going to do.
Quarterback. You know that's coming.
Yeah.
Take a quarterback in the 7th round and probably a kicker.
Mhm.
I can tell you that right away. He did do one all quarterback draft, which is a wild option. You never have too much.
That was
competition.
something.
Nope.
Is Justin not a Jordan Love guy?
No, Justin's not a Sean Clifford guy.
Oh, okay.
Justin likes to piss Eric off like all of us.
That
well,
is
right.
also accurate.
That we knew.
But
So I'm shopping.
but yeah, so Packers do wrap their season up. Very much looking forward to next year. A couple of just quick notes. Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith both had their contracts restructured and will be back creating some more cap room. Salary cap went up, and as of today, the Packers did place 3rd in the NFLPA's vote of the player vote of best cities/teams to play for.
When does the
Combine is this week.
No, the league year officially start when everybody gets cut. Or all the money gets off the books kind of thing.
Cuts, I believe, will start, or I believe in 2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks yet?
2 or 3 weeks, because they have the free agent negotiating periods coming up. Former Packer MVS already released from the Chiefs.
That makes sense.
It does. It'll save them. I think I saw $4 or $5 million in cap space for the Chiefs. So they'll be looking to retool the receiver position, as that was one of their weaknesses en route to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Back-to-back Super Bowls. And once again, Pat Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. Everyone focusing on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Dylan and I have a bet. I'm not sure if you caught this or not the last episode we recorded. Dylan and I have a bet about Taylor Swift being on the cover of Madden with Travis Kelce.
Not a chance.
Where I think if that happens, I owe Dylan $100 and $100 or something for geology. He's a geology nerd.
I don't think geology. I don't remember if that has anything to do with it,
but I'm pretty confident that that's not going to happen.
So does Dylan owe you if
he owes me $1? If
okay, that makes sense.
I figured that's pretty fair odds.
What? So she's gonna be in the background or what? That's
just somewhere on the cover.
Somewhere on the cover.
Yep.
And when would this come to fruition?
August.
Oh, okay. The wedding will be over. We'll be fine.
She's not going to be on it.
Who knows? Maybe she will.
There will
know.
be special cover, special edition. That
right.
That's what I'm saying, and that does count.
It absolutely does not. The standard release.
It absolutely counts.
I bet there might.
Absolutely counts.
The NFL is buying into the Taylor Swift stuff.
But they'd have to pay her then. That's the thing.
Right, that's the thing. That's the thing, is they got to pay her.
And for the amount that her record label is going to want to charge for her likeness, absolutely not.
Who knows?
I'm pretty safe in that. Speaking of likenesses and whatnot, NCAA football is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And that is beyond exciting. The only downside is I think it's supposed to release the week of our wedding. So if you don't
I know what Eric's doing the week of your wedding.
If
Eric doesn't show up to the day that
No, what's going to happen is you guys will all get ready at the apartment and you'll all be in the office all sweaty and it'll be 11 o'clock and we'll be like, where are the guys? I'll call you. And Eric will be like, yeah, we're playing. We'll be right there.
We're busy.
We got a close game going right now.
Yeah.
We can't stop this.
Yeah, we're busy.
Road to the Heisman. Road to Glory. That was the name of the
Road to
game
Glory.
mode. They did confirm that's going to be back, by the way.
I like that they're doing the crazy teams, all the good teams.
Oh yeah.
Or having what would it be, alumni teams?
Oh yeah, the historic teams.
Yeah, the historic ones.
They're doing that. I do like that they're doing compensation for the athletes of $600 and a copy of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was probably the best route to go about doing it, and it does make it very exciting for. I mean, that's always was part of the dream, right? It was
right
being featured in a video game, and
right.
NCAA was the first stepping stone to getting into Madden, and I mean, it's so 3% of college football players get into the NFL, so they've got all of D1. I think they're still possibly even working on getting a couple D2s and D3s in there as well. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition in time for year one of it or not, but they have spent about 3 years developing this, going to different campuses, going to different stadiums, getting all the traditions down, getting the student cheers, all that stuff. It's going to be an incredible game.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Cool.
We could sit here and do a draft of the best cover athletes for that game. It was only 13 years, but
we can't really do cover athletes.
Could do a few. We'd have 2 picks each, but
you could do NCAA and Madden covers.
You could just open it up to all covers of anything.
Cover band.
Sure.
Sure.
All right. So that's NFL talk, a little bit of college football talk, I guess, too. We go just a quick shift to the MLB, where the Brewers spring training games are underway as of this weekend. Are 1-3 now on spring training, which I mean doesn't matter, but kind of exciting. And Sean, again, we haven't had you on in a while, so your thoughts on the Brewers offseason as they finally get underway here. A couple additions, getting Gary Sanchez, Reese Hoskins, a couple others. Obviously, the big loss of Corbin Burns. Do bring back Brendan Woodruff.
Is it a loss? I don't know.
I mean, on paper it is.
On paper it is, but I feel like the team is gonna be built better without having to pay that much for a pitcher.
That's interesting.
I feel.
I mean,
you're gonna have to pay so many guys coming up here.
They essentially turned his one. I think he was going to get $12 million this year, with how arbitration his last year of arbitration, but it was $12 million. They turned that into the guys they got in the trade. And I think Gary Sanchez out of that too.
Yeah, I don't understand the Gary Sanchez signing, but
the only thing I get out of it is they did end up releasing Austin Nola from his minor league contract. So they're still likely going to carry 3,
right?
And so you've got, I mean, I think one of the more interesting things that's happened so far in spring training is seeing Sal Frelick get some work at third base. I mean, I think he was the most consistent of the young outfielders last year, and he's getting work in the infield now just to keep his bat around because they have such a surplus in the outfield between Weimer, Mitchell, obviously Christian Yelich, who kind of returned to form last year, was, different various lists of the NBA or not the NBA, MLB best of at the position, was just outside of MVP voting. You've still got William Contreras under contract for quite some time, and he was 8th in MVP voting. So you have a very young team that I think what you're saying is just some addition by subtraction.
Right.
And
I feel like they didn't get enough for the trade, but they still got enough to make it worth it.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, you got the guy that's got
Joey Ortiz and DL Hall.
I mean, he's only got 1 year of experience, so what do we got?
3 or 4 years out of him yet. And then the other one, so I think that's DL Hall. I think he was pitching at the major league level.
Yeah, I think last year.
And then Joey Ortiz, the infielder, is actually, the more and more I thought about this, he's kind of Bryce Terang with a little bit more pop. Very solid defensive, but a very good kind of security move in case you don't end up re-signing Willie Adames long term. You can still roll with your infield being Bryce Terang, Ortiz, and then looking for Tyler Black to possibly come up, or Sal Frelick to kind of grab that spot full time. So a lot of options yet for the Brewers infield and for the outfield for that matter, which getting to see Jackson Chourio today at the Brewers' first spring training game on TV of the spring training season. It is so cool to see him wearing, and it sounds like such a small detail, but to see him actually wearing like number 11, which is going to be his 40-man roster number as opposed to like number 87 or whatever they just assigned for spring training. Kind of a cool, you're looking towards the future on that.
We're assuming he's going to make the major league roster right away, or
I don't know.
We have no idea.
I don't know.
They going to pull the whole Chris Bryant thing that the Cubs did and call him up after what? It's got to be a month.
I think it's going to really depend on how spring training goes.
Right.
I know early on coming into today's game, he had been 3 of 6, which again, you're only a handful of games in and only a handful of at-bats, quite literally. But I think it's going to depend on how he can kind of adjust as spring training goes along, because he only has 1 week at AAA.
Right.
And I don't think it's necessarily the same kind of situation of a Chris Bryant or Steven Strasburg or whoever. Because of that inexperience, you kind of can hide it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Whereas, if this is like, there's guys like, I think Robert Gosser's kind of going to be the one, the pitcher, who's been knocking on the door, and even the Brewers social media team put it out earlier this week of, you guys got to see this guy. It's like, well, we've wanted to for 2 years now, and you guys keep him in AAA. So
same with Mizrahi and everything too.
Right. Dylan, you look bored.
No, sorry, my computer is being silly. But
Any thoughts on Brewer spring training?
no, I haven't been paying attention to Brewers spring training at all, to be honest with you.
That's exactly what I figured.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, we'll move on from that.
It's okay, Dylan. He usually does that to me when I'm shopping.
I'm not shopping, I swear.
You have a cat video on your phone right now.
Yes, I do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It looked like a little trippy cat video. Like it wasn't like just cats doing stuff. It was just a big
It says,
cat.
"Good morning, my beautiful angel princess. How did you sleep?" And then it said me, and it was a funny cat. So, anyways, it's
All
real
right.
good for audio.
So that brings us to the world of basketball, as we are 2 days technically now, because 1 day I guess, with leap year, as we are almost at March Madness. It is almost officially March, and college basketball kind of coming to a close. The NBA is really kind of ramping up as well. Let's start with the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Milwaukee Bucks, Dylan, I'm going to kind of hand this off to you, but they've been playing incredibly well since the All-Star break. Huge win last night, so take it away, Dylan.
Yeah, they actually have the highest defensive rating as a team since the All-Star break, I believe. So that's a welcome change. 3-0 in the last 3 games. Won a good one against the Grizzlies. Won a solid game against a 76ers squad without Joel Embiid. And then absolutely demoralized the Hornets. Won that game by 38 points. That's a tough one. That's a win. Very convincing. So it's welcome to see, and they seem like a whole different team. I'm glad to see it. I hope Doc Rivers keeps this squad along this path. We're only 1 game out of first in our little division behind Cleveland. So I don't think we have any games against Cleveland for a little while at all for the remainder of the year. Not that I see here. But looking at the rest of the schedule here, we got another one against the Hornets. It should be a dog walking. The Bulls, that should be another same thing. I mean, then you're hosting the Clippers, and then you're at the Warriors and at the Lakers. So, these next 2 games are very winnable games. So we hope they keep the streak going. Don't drop any more stupid games, and see what kind of seeding you can get towards the end of the year.
So 23 ball games left in the regular season, just kind of looking at the stats and with that. How are you feeling about the team possibly getting towards either a number 1 or kind of getting to that number 2 seed? And then this is kind of a dumb question because we know what the ceiling of the team is, but are they kind of trending in the right way, do you think, towards that championship season? What's been the big change in the last couple games?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. It's just refreshing to see them, playing hard. These wins that they're getting, they're not like silly wins here. I mean, these are convincing. Granted, the Timberwolves win was only 5 points, but that's are they still the number 1 seed in the West? They might still be the number 1 seed in the West, and they 5-point win's a 5-point win, but. And then, 76ers, you're winning that one by 21. And then another 38-point victory. They're playing well. They're playing hard. Maybe Doc Rivers just needed a little bit of time to get him to figure it out.
Yeah, very well could be. And taking a look at last night's stats, 23 for Dame, 24 for Giannis, both, pretty equal. Dame was plus 41 on the evening, 7 assists, 9 rebounds, all coming on the defensive end. Looking at the scoring, 10 out of Jay Crowder, 6 out of Malik Beasley, 21 from Bobby Portis off the bench, 8 for Danilo Gallinari, Marshawn Beauchamp, 9 for Pat Conta. I mean, these are all really encouraging numbers as they kind of go towards the season and a pretty deep.
When they get Gallinari?
I think it was made official earlier this week. It was
really?
Was it a 10-day contract or was it for the rest of the season?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was earlier this week though.
Oh.
I didn't
even see that.
It's a very under the radar move, but I think a very solid one. I think that's almost better than their Pat Bev move.
Right. Scorer off the bench.
Who last night 7 points, 3 assists.
Right.
So definitely an interesting team as they kind of build up here towards their postseason run. Again, 23 games left in the regular season, so we'll pay attention, but probably not that closely yet. But that's what Dylan's for. That's what we have him around for. Which leads us to the world of college basketball. And my, oh my, Dylan and Sean and Shawna, how things have changed since the last time we talked. The Badgers went from being 6th in the country, now looking at a 6th seed, if not worse, potentially. I mean, really hit the wall. There's talk about them not being in the tournament anymore, which I think they're pretty much secured in that. But talk of that. Green Bay hitting a little bit of a rough streak here for the men's side. The women's side of things just continuing to be dominant as well. We'll talk about all those individually. Marquette still doing their thing. They're up to 5th in the country playing tonight as well. 57-35 lead over Providence. So where do you guys want to start? Badgers, Marquette, Green Bay? Somebody pick.
Badgers. It starts with a B and it's alphabetically order. Then we'll go Green Bay and then we'll go Marquette.
Hey, Sean. All right. Badgers, tough one last night. 74-70 on the road to Indiana. 3 regular season games for them left before the conference tournament. And maybe one of them an easy one. They've got Illinois, who's 13th in the country on Saturday. They'll come home for Rutgers, they'll stay home for Rutgers, and then a road trip to Purdue to wrap up the regular season. And again,
tough stretch.
Definitely a tough stretch, and had 1-2 in a row, or 1-2 the last 3 coming into last night. Lost a tough one to Iowa last Saturday. Had 9 days off. Looking ahead to Maryland into Indiana. And yeah, just again a tough one to lose in Assembly Hall for a team just fighting and clawing to even make a NIT berth right now. And watching the Badgers, I don't know where it's going wrong per se. I don't think it's a Greg Gard problem. I think a lot of it is just they don't have a go-to consistent scorer.
I don't know what the problem is either. I'll be honest, I haven't watched a whole lot of them this year, but this is just an absolutely catastrophic collapse. I can't remember the last time I've seen anything like this in all the years I've been watching college basketball out of any team that I've paid remotely attention to. I mean, what do we drop here? 6 of the last 8 before
coming in the Nebraska game, they were 16-5.
6th in the country. Yep.
6th in the country. They lose to Nebraska. They lose to Purdue. They lose to Michigan. They lose to Rutgers. Win against Ohio State. Get the Ohio State coach fired. Promptly lose to Iowa. And then survive against Maryland.
And then lose to Indiana.
Correct. The month of February cannot end soon enough for Wisconsin.
No. And then you got 2 very difficult games ahead of you. Rutgers even handled Wisconsin very well the last time we played there. So, I mean, we could be looking at adding 3 more L's to this schedule. What team are we going to get here? Are we going to get that 6th ranked team in the country, or are we going to get this current, shitting all over the place team? What are we going to do here? I don't know. Right, I agree with you. I don't think it's a great guard problem, but at the same time, he's the head coach and he's got to get it figured out. This skid has the only loss that I've seen that could be reasonably excusable in the last 8 games was the Purdue game, and honestly, that was a winnable game. Very winnable game.
They had the great game plan for it. They knew what they could do, and they mostly were executing. Just came up a little short, but this is a team that has beaten Marquette by double digits. Dog walked Virginia on a neutral site. Went into Michigan State and won. I mean, these are games that I'm looking at the roster, and unless like you said, it's just a catastrophic meltdown, and I can't pinpoint it to. I mean, Kamari McGee being on the bench with an injury is really the only difference.
I don't
7th guard, or there's third.
I don't see that being. Other than maybe chalking that up to a morale killer, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I'm baffled. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough for me to have anything. I just don't know. I just don't know.
What do you think, Shawna?
I don't really have any thoughts.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you look at the stats, you've got 3 double-digit scorers. You've got AJ Storr getting 16.2, Tyler Wall 11.5, Stephen Kroll 11.2, Max Klesman 9.7, and a very consistent 3-point shooter. Chucky Hepburn only scoring 8.6 maybe is kind of maybe the catalyst, but we've been wanting him to not be the main scorer for a year now because he starts playing hero ball. I mean, maybe it's Connor Essegian only scoring 3.4 a game. I mean, you have a significant drop off with him in his, you call it a sophomore slump. He's been playing hurt all year, but I mean, is it really that simple where it's just that they don't have that second go-to shooter? Like, I mean, Max Klesman's kind of their go-to 3-point shooter right now, and he's not amazing. Definitely frustrating.
Yeah. It's been tough. It's been real tough watching these guys do so well. I mean, we're looking at being the best team since that 2015 national runner-up team with Frank and Decker and those guys, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, we're back here again. And you never know. Like, 3 big wins here, and you probably, if you can beat Illinois at 13th in the country right now, and you should be able to beat Rutgers, and you somehow squeak by Purdue, you're probably going to get in the tournament.
I mean, I think they're looking at, unless they drop all 3 and lose their first game in the Big Ten tournament, I consider them a lock. But, I mean, the way you're looking at it now, I mean, if they win those, I think 2 of the 3, they're guaranteed top 4, which is a double bye. If they win all 3, they could still play second, I think, in the conference. Which is, again, nothing short of amazing for how bad they played in the month of February. To be knocking on the door of it is incredible. Sean?
I got nothing.
All right, switching gears to some of the harder battles to get into the tournament. We're going to look at the 1-bid league, Green Bay Phoenix men, who currently playing on a Wednesday night, a little atypical for the Horizon League, up 48-36 on Cleveland State right now on the men's side, playing without Noah Reynolds, who got hurt a week ago today, actually, missed the last 2 games. Phoenix had dropped 3 straight and sit in a position where technically not eliminated from first place in the league, but also basically just playing for the be a top 4 seed. I have had some very impassioned conversations about how dumb I think it is the NIT got rid of the regular season conference title winner being an automatic qualifier to the NIT tournament. I think that's a great exposure for a lot of these mid-majors who are one-bid leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, the Horizon League kind of a one-off league with being in so many major market cities. I mean, you look at Detroit, Cleveland, you're in the Pittsburgh area with Robert Morris. You're in Green Bay, which is, I mean, it's still a smaller, but it's a national media market with the Packers, basically. Milwaukee, you don't really have a Chicago team anymore, but you had one for however long. You've got some major media markets, some major metropolitan areas. Indianapolis, you have a team there as well. And you could potentially not see, you could only see one team in any of the postseason tournaments, maybe 2 in like a CBI potentially, or a CIT. I think that's really bothered me. Because it also doesn't incentivize the regular season anymore. For the Horizon League, all you have to do is finish in the top 4. You get an automatic bid to the quarterfinal. You get one campus game for the Horizon League tournament, and then you're going to Indy for the semifinals, which is great. But again, there's no difference if you finish 1st or 4th, other than you get to hang a banner.
Right.
So that's kind of my beef with the whole system right now. But for that matter, kind of benefiting Green Bay a little bit right now in the sense that, you know, they had been leading the conference regular season for quite some time. There's not really a penalty there's not really an incentive if they lose. So as Coach Wicks had said, I think he said it last week, prior to the Noah Reynolds injury, that you're just focusing on playing good ball right now. You're not really result driven as long as your team is playing well. That's kind of the takeaway where, you know, you can kind of be okay with some of those losses last week and be like, okay, you're playing without your star player, but you're working on rotations to say he gets hurt again, or say if he's in foul trouble in a game going down the stretch. Now you've got guys who've got, you know, end of game minutes and different rotations to look at, things like that. So I don't hate that. But it does suck not being in a running for an NIT berth, an automatic NIT berth. Green Bay currently up 48-37. And Sean, I know you're not exactly a huge Green Bay fan, but just as an outsider and kind of being around it and whatnot too, what are your thoughts on just the 1 year turnaround going from a coaching staff, I should say, because the interim coach kind of factors in this number too, but the last 3 years of Will Ryan, they had won a combined 16 games. Phoenix is now at 17-12, and with a win tonight would obviously then be 18-12, and probably a lock for one of those top 4 seed teams. So just that single year turnaround.
It just shows what bringing a coach in that changes the culture of the team, and you can't just go off expectations. I mean, these guys wanted to play for Coach Wicks, and it's showing a little bit more than, you know, it seemed like they didn't really want to play for Will Ryan. And you can tell the coach is passionate about it. And I mean, we're just watching the game here right now, and I don't think he sat down the whole freaking game. He's just passionate about the whole anything and everything.
Yeah, I mean that's an excellent way to put him. And I've said it at different parts of this show and in our recordings. The dude is just wired differently in such a good way. And, you know, he talks about when he was recruiting for this job and trying to build the roster after he got hired. looking to get guys who want to join the process, go from literally the last ranked team in college basketball by net ranking, KenPom rankings, 366 is where they were, dead last in the whole country. And now potentially looking at being in a realistic possibility to win 2 conference tournament games and sneak into a championship game where anything can happen. And they've beaten every team in the Horizon League except Northern Kentucky, I think. But you're looking at a potential to sneak into an NCAA tournament year 1. Just an absurd turnaround. Right. And get guys who, again, they want to play there.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, we're watching the game right now, and you can just tell on the defensive side that they're getting in the passing lanes and everything, and everybody's just going and going and going. I mean, they can't get a rebound right now, but
I gotta say, watching this game versus the product that they had played last week, it is very encouraging to see that, the effort and kind of how they rebounded from last week, where I think last Thursday when they had played, or last Friday night when they played, it was very obvious that they were kind of saying, hey, we don't have our star player. And on Sunday even, it was a little bit better, but it was also kind of like, hey, we're hoping to stick around here, but we don't have our star player.
Right, but you can't use that as an excuse for the rest of the year either.
Right, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, they've rebounded so well to that and are playing at a pretty good level right now. And again, up tonight. So very encouraging on that front for the men's side. Dylan, any thoughts?
I'd like to see him finish strong. I did get to catch a little bit of one game. Not too much. I kind of echo what Sean was saying about them. Actually, it looks like they want to be there. They want to play hard, versus how they did for Ryan. But like the turnaround you said, from dead last to where they are now as a program. Obviously, they're never going to be where they want to be after year 1. But just this turnaround has been great. I love seeing these guys playing so hard and winning games and putting themselves in a position.
Okay, now I got a serious question for you. Do we think Coach Wicks is going to go anywhere else after this year?
After this year, no.
I don't see it. No.
I say this as a fan, and also B, just kind of looking at everything he said, and we've talked to him on our show. I've had him on a radio guest. I've never actually physically met him in person, but everything I've ever, you read about him, every press conference he does, every interview he does, the dude's incredibly consistent with his answers. And what I mean by that, and why that's important for my answer, is that I am one to believe that he's not just a typical, he's not doing coach speak. He's a genuine person. And he's a kind of guy that I think at the very least, he's going to give you 3 or 4 years to kind of build things up and hopefully see it to fruition with some of these, freshmen and sophomores that they have on the roster right now that he's recruited to bring here, and kind of go from there and see what comes of it. And see the whole process go through. So, if this turnaround and things are still going very well in 2 years, or, even after next season, I think that conversation might pick up a little bit more. God, I wish I could say that. I think he's like a career guy. Like, you've got Coach Lampy in Oakland, where he's kind of that career guy and ended up staying there. And the coach, I can't remember, he just retired last year, but he coached at Detroit Mercy for forever. And you kind of get some of those guys who stick around in places like this because they love the area. Their families ends up setting up shop here. And so many things. I would love to see that happen. I also know the nature of the business, and that's not realistic to expect out of every coach. And that no matter what a person answers now, I mean, you've got to set your family up and your situation up for the best possible situation, right? Like, I'm not going to fault a guy where if he wants to take his family in 2 or 3 years and get a bigger job and more money or whatever the situation is. Great. Like, I'm going to continue rooting for him because he's a great person. But at the end of the day, like I said, if he would become one of these Green Bay lifers and be like that, I would be over the moon happy as well. Because it also means that they're probably doing very well and they're keeping him around and paying him enough to kind of say, hey, we want to continue to contend. We don't want to go through this revolving door of that they did in the early 2000s after Dick Bennett had left, where they went through Kowalczyk, they went through Wardle, who've had very good careers after leaving and kind of set up shop where they are. But even after Wardle had left, you had Darner for a few years, and it kind of comes out he hates fundraising, and then they move on from him, even though took a team to the tournament, was a consistent top 4 finisher, just signed an extension, but you move on from him. You go to Will Ryan, more or less kind of based on name. Will Ryan is a good person, wasn't a great head coach at the D1 level. So that's the nature of Division I mid-major basketball, but you also do hope to get a guy who sticks around for forever. Or as long as he wants to.
Right. That makes sense.
So
seems like this is the guy we want that to be too.
Right.
I would love it if that's the case. Like, again, am I counting on it? No. Just because I believe in him as a coach, and I could very well see him being, again, 3 to 4 years, building success, and moving on with his family and getting a bigger role somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
For him for that, if that's the route he wants to go.
Right.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Flipping gears now to a coach who has been here in 2 different stints, but has been a quote-unquote lifer. Looking at the Green Bay women, Kevin Borseth, in the interim since we last recorded his 500th Green Bay career win earlier, I think 2 weeks ago. Again, since we last recorded. Earlier this season, he had 800 Division I, or actually NCAA wins. I have to clarify that because I think his D3 wins count in that too. Just not the JUCO level, but still 800 career wins, or 800 plus now, and 500 at one location here in Green Bay. The Green Bay women are playing at a very high level, kind of battling through a tough one tonight against a very good Purdue Fort Wayne team, currently leading 67-61 with under a minute left in regulation in that one. Looking to win, it'll be their 7th straight win, just kind of counting this up here, and build up towards being either the 1 or the 2 seed. Would have one more game against Milwaukee on Saturday prior to the end of their season, so they do have one more home game. Do the Green Bay women, but just not enough can be said about Kevin Borseth and the consistency that program has. And again, at a very high level, very likely to make the tournament as an at-large, if not a qualifier. Cleveland State, who they're kind of chasing down in the regular season rankings, very well, I believe it could come down to a tie. But I think Cleveland State has one more game as well. And they did split their regular season series, so it would be a co-title for the regular season title, and then I think they would have a 2 seed based on tiebreakers or somehow. I don't really exactly know how that well works out, but again, it doesn't matter because of the NIT doing what they do on both men and women's side. But nevertheless, a team that very likely will be in the NCAA tournaments. Had some top 25 wins earlier this season, did what they need to do in the non-conference portion. Are sitting at 16-2 with a win tonight if results hold, will be 17-2 in conference play.
They were ranked at one time too. Or
They were just on the outside of
they were
being
just-
ranked. They were receiving
Mhm.
had been, I think, at like 27th essentially for being ranked. But again, two top 25 wins this year over Washington State, which is starting to look a lot better with how that conference has played out, and a very good win against Creighton earlier in the season as well, both on the road. Or away from the Crest Center, I should say. The Washington State game, I believe, was part of a neutral site holiday Thanksgiving tournament, but win at Creighton, win against 22nd ranked team on the road on a neutral site. Very good things for the Phoenix, and they do win 70-61 tonight, led by Jasmine Kondrakowicz. What?
Say that again.
Jasmine Kondrakowicz.
Kondrakowicz.
You spell one for me, Sean?
No.
I actually know how to pronounce almost all of these. Like that's the one thing about working radio with this team is you've learned some of these, but I think one thing that gets kind of slept on with the Green Bay women as a whole. Yes, Shawna?
I was just gonna say you're a media professional.
Shut up. Thanks for bringing that back up.
You're welcome.
He's a media professional.
Technically, I mean, I get paid for it.
So what are we?
Amateurs.
Media.
Yeah.
Media peasants.
But what I was gonna say is that almost their whole entire roster is out of Wisconsin too. And I think Dylan and I have talked about this when you start looking at, Ali Zebo and going to UConn next year from Nina.
Mhm.
KK Arnold, who has cracked the UConn starting lineup out of Germantown this year as a freshman. It is amazing how much talent comes out of Wisconsin every single year on the basketball side. They do have the number one player in the state for the boys side is at Wisconsin Lutheran, committed to Duke as well. Which, by the way, I need to.
You gotta talk about Duke.
We gotta talk about court storming.
We gotta talk about Duke.
We do, and actually Duke kind of
He
gets
tried to trip him.
what?
The Duke dude stuck his leg out, tried to trip him. I don't feel bad for them Blue Devils.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
still on Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
No, not Grayson Allen.
That sounds like an anti-Grayson Allen rant.
Well, of course I'm anti-Grayson Allen. He was a Duke player.
Fuck Duke.
Yeah.
You're both wrong on that, but
Isn't
No,
Eric?
go heel.
I am a
Go
Duke.
heels.
You guys are
Go
North
heels.
Carolina friends. Mm,
Yeah, go heels.
got it.
But yeah, the whole court storming thing has been an interesting conversation the last week as well. I wanted to get your guys' takes on that.
I didn't.
Whatever came of that? Did he get? What was his injury? Did he get injured at all?
He had a bag of ice that went from his ankle to his knee to
Oh, poor guy.
basically. I don't think he's going to miss any time.
Okay, so he's just being a baby. Okay.
This weekend, Wake Forest beat Duke
Okay.
at
Oh,
home.
good.
Was
Good.
favored in the game, by the way, which is kind of odd that you court storm a favored win. But
It's Duke.
it is Duke, right? Wake Forest gets the win, storms the court, and a Duke player comes up limping and holding needs a bag of ice because he rolled his ankle or bruised his knee or
Because
something.
he stuck his leg out and tried to push the fan, and then he got hit. Then he tried to make it look like the guy hurt him. That's what happened.
Pretty much. And then the whole Caitlin Clark thing where she gets bumped into was against Nebraska.
Flops. Both flops.
Yeah, both were flops. I will admit that.
Yep,
I'm a big.
flops.
I love Caitlin Clark is so incredible to watch, and we know I'm a Duke fan. Both of them were flops and trying to steer a narrative.
Like a
Now,
LeBron flop or
John, that's not the conversation to have right now. You are outnumbered for once, or at least even.
When we were in school, I feel like I remember when we were at that Virginia game. I remember them setting up barriers in front of the student section,
Yes.
and over the announcement, over the loudspeaker, While as the game after Green Bay had secured the win, but the game was not over yet, they came over the loudspeaker and said, "Don't even think about it."
Verbatim, that's what they said.
What happened when we stormed the field at the Badger game? Because they put up the barricades too, and the students just said, "Screw it," and they
well, there's
We'll talk.
2,000 of them at that game.
Okay.
They're not gonna. It's a lot easier to stop. 200 kids that were at this game?
Sure. So the article I saw earlier this week that said that schools can choose one fan to storm the field, that's BS.
Yeah, that's not true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It was like a picture, and I was like,
That actually came from
I thought-
Horizon League game.
okay, I thought that's what we were talking about right now.
No.
So, okay.
So that picture came from a Horizon League game where the two worst teams in the Horizon League was IUPUI and Detroit Mercy.
Okay.
Detroit Mercy had gone 0-23 at that point and lost their D3 games as well. Beats IUPUI on the road
Got it.
or at home. And one fan just walked out and it was like, woo.
Mhm.
Okay, because I saw an article that was like, following scandal, this is what schools are doing now, and I was like, that doesn't seem
No, that
right.
actually came from the site that I read.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the Horizon Roundtable.
Oh, okay, great. All right, anyway.
Anyway, so yes, Dylan is correct for the Virginia Green Bay game. They came over the PA and were like saying essentially, just a warning, there will not be court storming. Fans are to remain in the sections, blah, blah, blah. Reminder, fine will be imposed, whatever. When we went to Madison, there was a couple thousand. They did set up some barriers, but they also did open the gates for everybody too.
No, they didn't. The
Well,
people down in the front opened the gates.
Yeah, security just kind of let you do it though too. Like they didn't like have anybody
I
out
suppose,
there.
yeah. I feel like they knew it was going to happen either way.
Which that was also Wisconsin was a favorite at home against a ranked opponent, and
It's homecoming,
it was homecoming.
but I think that's why they did it.
That very well could have been, but it was definitely an odd field storm.
Oh, it was great. I thought it was fun.
It was a great time. Like in theory, I rejected it, but in principle, I actually did it. Like it was fun to do.
Oh, Eric, you can't be such a purist all the time.
No, I am a purist because you shouldn't court storm or field storm when you're a favorite in a game.
We stormed the court in high school, and we all got detentions.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. They pretty much said the same thing. Don't think about it. And there were people sneaking out the doors and stuff before they got all of our names.
You gave your name to
Smart.
No, I didn't. I couldn't get out. The principal was right by me.
Oh.
He was like, Shawna, you're the first one on my list. I'm like, all right, dude. I'll see you Monday.
So you serve that detention?
I did. That was the only one I ever got.
I think we did for football one year.
Field stormed?
Yeah.
We
No,
weren't
that
that good.
would have been 8th grade.
It's so fun.
It was fun.
That was when we beat Milwaukee Bradley Tech,
Oh,
and
sure.
they were like the 3rd ranked team in the state, and for some reason we beat them.
They underestimated you. That's why.
The coach at that time hadn't changed the playbook for 25 years, so everybody knew what we were gonna run, except for the random teams that you played.
Like
So-
Milwaukee Bradley Tech, or
Right.
when we played Milwaukee Vincent, and they were struggling to get a roster together that day. And
Yeah.
the bus was like 3 or 4 hours late.
You guys are playing Milwaukee teams all the way up in Gillette?
We played Milwaukee Vincent my sophomore year because the opponent that we were supposed to play dropped football like 2 months before the season
Wow.
and ended up going to 8-man.
That's a hike.
So we needed an opponent. They had an open game because of something similar. And it was the second game of the year. It was the first game. But they didn't have like a full roster that day or that morning of. So they were like literally trying to find players. It was supposed to be like a 4:00 game. And it ended up being like a regular 7:00 game. And I can only imagine the culture shock of what those kids coming up from Milwaukee and saw 4-wheelers in the parking lot. Like multiple 4-wheelers in the parking lot. And trucks.
So are they getting rid of field and court storming, or is that...
Well, that's the conversation now because 2 players have gotten quote unquote hurt.
never going to stop it.
A lot of conferences, it's kind of discretion of the conference. Like, they'll say you kind of get 3 before it actually becomes a fine, and it's a whole. I mean, it gets.
Mm-hmm.
The boosters end up paying it because it's better publicity if they say,
Right.
"Hey, Wisconsin just stormed the court against." Actually, I think the last time they did it was Purdue, but like when they did it against Duke when they were number 1, or Ohio State. So, I think, I mean, the booster, you'll get like 2 or 3 boosters together. They'll pay the $20,000 fine, whatever it ends
Right.
up being, and it's chump change for them, and they can use it as a tax write-off, and
Donation to the school. And
all's well at the end of the day.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Mad Dog made a very valid, compelling argument against Duke being hypocrites on this court storming thing.
I'm very.
Now, granted,
I didn't hear this.
he basically goes on to say, it sucks that dude got hurt, right? It does. I agree. I don't like seeing anyone get hurt, especially even a Blue Devil. I'll even give him that.
For what it's worth, by the way, he is playing tonight. He has. He
He didn't sit out any games.
He's 4 of 8 from the field with 9 points, 10 rebounds.
Yeah,
5
he
assists.
didn't sit out any games. Now, he goes on to explain, Duke's win situation. They're never really in a situation, especially with basketball, where they're in a must-win game to make the NCAA tournament. So Duke really only storms the court when they beat North Carolina at home. That's really the only time I ever see Duke storm the basketball court.
And
But
even
then he shows
it's few and far between that they're in a position where it's like an upset.
right. Yep. But then he goes on to show some football games. Duke and Clemson. Assuming Duke wins because their fans absolutely storm the field. They are coming in droves. And the ACC commissioner didn't say nothing about it. And he points out some other stuff. But now all of a sudden Duke's got a problem with it because they're on the receiving end of it. And they did the same thing. So
Yeah, that checks out.
I'm saying Duke's being babies.
I'm actually kind of agreeing with it. I'm a Duke fan, but I'm kind of agreeing with this. I think this is lame. Like that, it's even a conversation.
Agreed.
The court storming is like one of the coolest things that happens, and like there's so many people.
I'm pissed
like,
we didn't get to do it.
There's people out there. I think one thing I saw on Twitter this week was one of the producers on one of the different Wisconsin sports talks said college is supposed to be fun. Let the kids do it. If you're in a position to do it, let them experience. And then comes back with, well, you're there to get an education. You're not there to have fun.
Shut up.
Push your glasses up. Get off.
Paying all this money. I should be able to have fun for 4 years
Yeah.
of life.
Right. Or like some people, 6, 7. A lot of people go to college for 8 years.
yeah, they're called doctors.
Thank you.
Not us.
Thank you, Sean. I needed that. I needed somebody to pick that up.
Oh, I thought you were just referring to the people we know that have been in college that long and are still not doctors.
No,
Oh.
That's
That
the
was-
joke.
that was from Tommy Boy, one of the greatest movies.
Oh, seeing is why I didn't get it.
John has never seen Tommy Boy all the
I've
way through.
seen
All
Tommy
the way
Boy.
through.
It's
Really?
dumb.
Not dumb.
It's not dumb.
Tommy Boy's a great movie.
Ugh.
This is noogie worthy right now. Is that you think Tommy Boy is dumb?
Tommy Boy is so overrated.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Mute her ass.
What?
Unplug her mic.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He said mute you.
Oh, I thought he said something else.
Then mute your ass.
Oh.
Yeah, I unplugged your mic for a little bit. You're on timeout.
Yeah. Timeout.
All right, so Marquette's 5th in the country. Things are great there. Good for them. Big East. Woo! Fuck Milwaukee. All right. With that, we wrap up the episode with talking about what we are rooting for in the upcoming week. And this is, well, spoiler alert, probably the last week that this segment's going to be unsponsored. As we have a major announcement coming up in the upcoming weeks. Still waiting on a couple T's in that to be crossed, I's be dotted. but we will have a pretty fun announcement with this. But with that said, gentlemen and Shawna, what are you rooting for in the upcoming week? Wants to go first.
Shawna does.
No, I don't. I don't know.
I'm rooting
break
for
next
Amro
week.
Fox's basketball.
Oh,
Boys and girls hitting the playoffs. Let's go. Make some wins. I'm rooting for court storming to still be a thing. And I'm rooting for this warmer weather coming in. That's what I got.
Dylan or Sean, what do you got for us?
Spring training baseball.
Hell yeah!
That's where
Screw
I'm
you,
going.
Ramsey and Dylan, or screw you, Ramsey and Justin.
yeah, Dylan.
Wow.
So hurt.
Wow.
Screw you too, Dylan.
Okay.
On one right now. That is some deep Wisconsin show lore.
I know you'd get a kick out of that.
I appreciate that a lot. All right, you did spring.
Yeah, I got spring break next week, so I get a week off to do nothing.
Very cool.
I'm gonna say, also kind of just echoing March Madness, guys.
Are we doing the thing this
We
year?
are
too?
going to have a bracket challenge.
Hey, we made it to March. January and February are over.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We are going to have
Where'd the first 2 months of the year go?
I don't know, but I don't care. They're gone. Spring's coming.
What do we got? 3 months till your wedding?
3?
Four?
Where'd you learn to do math?
O'Connell Falls.
4?
4.
Must be something about the falls.
Yeah.
It's okay, me too.
4.5.
That's crazy. We
I
got
know.
a lot of stuff to do.
Anyway,
It only gets better.
but yes,
Shawna is defeated already.
Kewanee
Yeah.
Storm is will be Friday night, possibly going to St. Mary's Springs Saturday.
St. Mary's Springs.
All the way to
Fond du Lac.
Fond du Lac.
That's where, if both teams would win Friday, that's where Kewanee goes.
Holy Toledo. My neck
No,
of the
not
woods.
Toledo.
Fond du Lac,
That's my neck of the woods.
Fond du Lac, not Toledo.
not Toledo.
Right.
That's a different state, Shauna.
It's my neck of the woods.
Toledo? You're in Sheboygan. You're from Sheboygan.
Fond du
Sheboygan.
Lac.
Sheboygan.
All right, wrap her up. Put a bow on it, Rick.
All right. Anybody got a bar of the week for us? Shauna, Dylan, Shauna,
The
Dylan?
Dome in Menasha.
Dylan's really
Sports bar.
showing us up tonight.
I was gonna say maybe it's Bono one, but
I missed last week, so I had to, I had to show up.
1338 South Commercial Street, Nina.
Close enough. Sounds right to me.
All right, 4.3 stars on Google. Very enjoyable review. Service was amazing. Timeliness of food. Quality food was great. I would highly recommend this place to your friends and family looking for a great local family place to enjoy. Went there for another review, 5 stars. Went there for a class reunion. Ate there in the hall. Server Teresa was right on the ball. So quick with the drinks and orders. Food was good. Steak sandwich at Tots, very good. Went to the bar, served right away. Dylan, what'd you have? How was it?
Is it a dome?
No, it's a sports bar.
Felt like it was a logical question. But all right.
why would a bar be a dome?
Is there like a dome light? I don't know. Why would they call it a dome?
No,
Dome lights in your car.
Like a dome ceiling?
because a lot of sports, field houses are called domes.
It is not
Super
dome.
dome.
Super dome.
Jennifer and I went there last weekend, and we just went there for a snack. We got some of their seasoned, they're like potato wedges. Came with a side of ranch, sour cream. They had a ton of TVs. It's like you take a Buffalo Wild Wings and you mix it with your small town bar, with all the sports on the TVs and stuff. Really nice. Didn't have music so loud you couldn't hear your own thoughts. I enjoyed it. I will be patronizing there again.
So no touch tunes.
I don't believe there was touch tunes, but there was a few slot machines.
Pull tabs?
Yeah, pull tabs.
There may have been pull tabs. Didn't look around a whole lot at that point. I was focused on getting my beer.
What about
Busch
your sweet
Light?
tarts?
What about sweet tart? Yeah.
No sweet.
How do you have one without the other at this point? That's my next. Like, are you just kind of trained? Like, you like a Pavlov's response where you crack a
Yeah.
beer like I need sweet tarts.
Jenny's gonna start carrying them in her purse.
I know, right? Yeah. You just make do. You just make do.
Got pocket sweet tarts.
So did you go home and have some sweet tarts then?
No, I'm all out actually. Oh,
Oh man, what are you gonna do for lunch tomorrow?
2
Nerds.
beers.
All
I'll have a
right.
beer for dessert.
For Justin Ramsey not here, for Dylan, Sean, Shawna, I'm Eric Fisher. Episode 144 is in the books. We're out. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace.